to the Soul Food Book Club.
Didn't go live.
It says we're live.
It didn't come up live on my screen.
It's telling me we're live.
If Charlie says we're not live, we're not live.
Right.
You two behave yourself today now.
I can't.
It
There it
says
goes.
it now.
Know how to-
There it goes. Yep.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I said. Thank you, Charlie. All right,
Okay.
so we are here with the last week of talking about the 5-second rule. And those of you that have the book, please hold it up. 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. I love this book and I love this teaching. We're here today with Suzanne. I'm so happy to see you.
Missed you guys.
Mary Lou,
Hello.
Charlie, and
So
Erica,
good to be here.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
and Christina is with us incognito.
Hello.
I have loved this book. Have you all loved the book?
Yes, very much.
Is it working for you? This whole concept.
Yes.
Let's hear about it.
I believe,
How
I
does
believe it
impact your
is.
life?
I believe it is for me, you know, in the concept that I hold the dearest for some reason is counting backwards. When I'm in a situation that I need to be thoughtful, I allow myself to count back from a higher number. But when it's something else, you know, that I just need to motivate with, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. And it's been very helpful. It's a great mindset for me to create, you know, especially when I know that it might be something like housework or, you know, things that you don't really jump to do every day or very often. And so in those circumstances, especially, it's been a great lesson for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that, like, something like housework, the things that have to be done. We don't get so motivated to jump on those, do we? It's like we know we have to do them. So sometimes we will procrastinate. I'm speaking for myself when I had a house to clean, procrastinate and, you know, really have to be motivated. And some people wait until like, oh, there's company coming, now I have to clean. So, you know, this is a way to get us out of that habit, I think, the bad habits that we use when we procrastinate. Anybody else? How has it changed your life in working with this?
Yeah, like Mary Lou said, it's like a motivational tool. It like gives you, I don't know, you get a boost, like almost like you get adrenaline flow from, you know, just the concept of it. It doesn't give you your brain time to say no. It's, you know.
I'm out
Go ahead, Christina.
I'm out taking my walk because of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I had been making a lot of excuses for why I couldn't go out and how busy I was today, and that I just wasn't going to fit in my normal activity. And then I kind of caught myself and went, you know, because I was just saying before we came on that I had to get out before the rain came, because I sat there and listened to the forecast and I was like, oh, see, the rain is coming. And immediately that mind talk of why and the excuses of why I couldn't go out. And then I just went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going out right now. It was
Well, I think the weather's getting to her. The clouds are coming in. The clouds are coming in.
You're covering up the satellite. But yeah, it's so true what she was saying, that there's always going to be an excuse. We can find an excuse anywhere, right? For not doing that thing that we're committed to doing or that we desire to do. There's always something that can come up and say, it's going to rain today, so just skip the walk today, right? Christina, are you back with us?
Oh, that's too bad. Well, she might come back. Maybe she walked right out of the zone.
Yeah.
I have to say, I realized I was using the 5-second rule already, but not in 5 seconds. Maybe, my timing was different, but reading it, it resonated. I was like, oh, I sort of am doing that. So now it was sort of putting it in a frame and giving it a thought to it so you can do it more conscious. So for me, that was interesting. I was like, oh, yeah. I enjoy doing it. The only thing I'm still struggling with is like keeping me from eating chocolate. I haven't figured out yet how to say 5 to 1 and not eat the chocolate now. That's about my biggest struggle, but it definitely gets you going, to do things. So I love it.
Yeah, maybe for me it's the caffeine, the coffee. Yeah, because there's part of me that says, that's not really that great for you. And yet I love it and I indulge.
But ladies, everything's good for you in moderation.
In moderation.
Switch. Yeah, coffee is also said to be good for you,
Right.
and so is chocolate. So yeah, maybe one time say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no, and say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yes. Yeah, it's okay sometimes.
Plus, there's pretty good decaf coffee, Teri, as well.
Yeah, I've never been able to do the decaf.
Erica's just shaking her head.
No,
Yeah.
no. Either caffeine or
A bust, right?
yeah. I think that it works if you use it. So that's the trick, that you have to use it. And like, it's helped me because the hardest part of doing anything is getting started. Once you're up and you're started, you can keep going. It's, for me, it's the start and stops that, like if I come home and sit down, I ain't getting up again, like that. So using that has helped when I use it.
Yeah, that's the thing, but we can develop the habit of using it. What is it? Once you do something like so many times, it becomes habit, and you don't have to really think about doing it anymore. You just do it. So that's important to remember also, is
Right.
practice it until it has become that habit.
And
So
do you know what's interesting? It's sort of the same in dog training. With us having all those dogs, we had a couple trainers, it's redirecting your thoughts. That's what you do with the dog. If you want a behavior to end, you distract the dog. So with you don't giving your brain so much time to think and then doing it, sort of the same direction with, just not having the time to focus on something and do it. I thought there were parallels to that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
True, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dogs respond so well to consistency. And I think that's the thing. If we can get into a consistent way of being and saying, okay, 5-second rule and do it, then that's what makes all the difference. We will respond. We'll give ourselves that pat on the back. You did that. And Charlie, I think I've heard you even say that. I did it because I used the 5-second rule. And seeing that success in doing it.
Yeah, it's just such a good motivational tool. Things that you put off, or I don't have to do it today. No, don't give your brain a chance to think about it.
To talk you out of it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because you got to move. and it works.
And I
Here's a
think
good
that's,
paragraph. Go
yeah,
ahead, Susan.
I just want to say real briefly, I think that's what I did with the Zoom meeting today, because I had been stressing myself. And like in the last minute, I was like, no, I'm going to go to book club. And I didn't give myself much time to think about it. I just went. So it was sort of maybe a little longer than 5 seconds, but it was the same principle to say, just jump and don't even think about it.
Mhm.
Yay.
Yeah.
It worked.
And that's kind of what this paragraph says. Is it okay if I read this?
Oh,
The
absolutely.
The author believes that you can make anything happen as long as you listen to your heart, do the work, and give up on the timeline. There is no expiration date on discovering and expressing the power of you. It starts with a belief in yourself, and that belief is grounded in the courage to push yourself. The answers are inside of you if you have the courage to listen. You are remarkable in your own way, and it all starts by listening to what's inside of you and ends with the courage to go where it leads. I mean, isn't it awesome how so many of the books that we have read in our club have that same concept of self-love and self-confidence, and that when you act upon that, magic can happen, and she uses those words and says it's magic. And because I think we surprise ourselves many times, by just saying, yep, I can do this, and I'm going to take the action to try doing it. And then and you step into that moment and it becomes part of your life. I loved it that, that Mel Robbins and Keith that we read, it was all positive energy pushing us along into making healthy choices for ourselves, with that always in mind that we're worth it. We're important. We're as important as anything else that's going around us, or, with family or friends or circumstances. We're all worth it, and it's been very nice to hear that affirmation. I've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. And, one of the sayings that she put, so many sayings in the book that I really resonated with, but one of them that I remember and I've got in front of me is, nothing will work unless you do. And that's Maya Angelou. And it's so true. We can know this, we can have this knowingness about this tool, this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 tool, but it's not going to work unless we use it, unless we actually put some footwork to it and follow it. And once you start doing it and start following it, it's like addictive, like, wow, that worked. Let me try it again. And that's what she was explaining. I heard, I think it was her TED talk, where she was saying, it worked. So I tested it to see if it would work again, and it did. And so from there, you just keep going with it. And I think that's the beauty of, once you find something that works, then you want to keep going with it. And this is something that so many millions of people have found because of Mel, and it works. So we have Luz that came in, and Luz says, I was doing my garden to a lunch break, enjoying the topic, but I have to go, even though I don't want to go. And she needs the name of the book. So Luz, I will send you a private message, because I know she's probably gone by now, but I'll send a private message to her and give her the name of this book that we have so enjoyed this month, working with and talking about and enjoying the energy of Mel Robbins. I can see why she is so sought after, because she's a wonderful teacher. And that's what this whole book is about, is teaching us how we can become better in our lives by using the tools that are there for us. This is just one tool, but it's a powerful one. I feel anyway.
And I think to what Mary Lou said, it's also powerful. We all, let's say, for example, in the book club, reading all those books and our lights shine brighter and brighter. I imagine us going into that cave in France, Mary Lou was mentioning, and being all shining, because we have those tools and we have the power. to be bright lights. So it all leads us down this path collectively, which I love. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all like if you have the courage. The big thing in the book was, I think there was a whole chapter on it anyway. And if you have the courage to start, you have the courage to succeed. It's just giving yourself the kick in the ass to get started.
Right.
And the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just boom, you go before you get the chance to put the doubts or fears or, why I shouldn't be doing it,
Right.
Don't let your brain.
When we start talking, yeah, we start talking ourselves out of it. I'm not going to do it. Given that chance, we'll talk.
Or I'll do it
that
tomorrow
5, 4, 3,
or
2,
something.
1. Or I'll do it tomorrow, right?
Or we start doing something and then our brain's telling us that's too hard or that's too much to do right now. So we always have that ego talk. But if we can just go back to why we started doing something to begin with, why were we motivated to write a book of poetry and publish it? Why were we motivated to do certain things in our life? And go back to that motivation for doing the thing. And then do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And okay, let's move forward now. Let's take another step. I think it can help us
That's what I appreciate the most about this is the action part.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool for action. And sometimes we're given a lot of tools in these books that we've been reviewing, this one actually catapults you though into the action in a very gentle way without you even realizing that that's what is actually happening. It's just one of those tools. But I think to get there, there's other tools too. But that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that tool to me is an action tool.
Mm-hmm.
To catapult you forward. It's the ability to actually take that step forward. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be big. It just has to be forward.
I like that. Can we quote you on that? It doesn't have to be big.
Okay.
I like that. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Mel said, change is very simple, but it's not always easy. And that's where the action piece comes in, to just take that step and move forward. And it's okay if it's not easy because it's simple.
I was just thinking of the biggest, baddest thing I could do, and if it would work on that. And skydiving came into my head. I wonder if I would jump out of that plane with that 5-second rule. I'm not sure, but that's my worst fear. I could imagine jumping out of an airplane, but who knows, someday
Maybe that's
right?
the only way you would do it, Suzanne.
Yeah.
And isn't it great that
the
we
only
have
way I
that?
would do it.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Suzanne. Why would I jump out of a perfectly good working airplane?
Yeah.
Right. Crazy thought.
Well, make sure you take enough time to put your parachute on.
Yeah. It's like when I was standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
I just can't let go of that rail, right? I have to have something to hold on to. So yeah, skydiving, I don't think that's in my future. I really don't. Unless the plane is going down, and then I would think about it. So if you could say anything to the author, if you could sit with Mel, what would you say to her after reading this book?
I'd have to thank her. And how the hell did she come up with it? I don't know. You know, what motivated her to, you know, to do it? I don't know.
I think it came from a happiness within herself. You know, I think I remember reading that she was going through a very hard time, and finally she said that's enough. And because of her educational background and probably in psychology and psychiatry, that, you know, she had a lot of information floating around that she just needed to put into action. You know, and isn't it great? She was inspired to do that. That's what I would say too, Charlie, is thank you so much for not only having the inspiration, but to share it with people, you know, and is she still, in fact, you know, remembering to do that? Because I think sometimes, you know, if you've done it for a number of years, you might tuck it away at some point. And I hope I don't do that. I hope it's become a part of my lifestyle now.
And there's over 1 million copies sold. So she touched over 1 million people. You know?
Oh, man.
She said she watched a rocket launch at the beginning. Remember when she was doing so bad, and she watched a rocket launch, and that gave her the idea. So I have to thank her from being at the bottom of the pit to coming out on the other side. Is very inspirational to me. You know, so yeah, I would say thank you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd say thank you too, and of course, and you know, life is so complicated. It's great that she made it so simple, or seemed so simple and so easy, instead of like this whole big drawn out thing on how to do it. You know, it's just a really quick little tool to use.
And she was frank about her life experiences too. I mean, she really went from riches, you know, to almost losing everything, and her husband as well, with the companies and stuff. So, I mean, it's sort of written from the heart, because she was right there, and this is what turned it around for her. So that makes it real. I think we can relate to that.
Right.
It's not just somebody writing some kind of book. She really put it to use. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah, I love that. And I would have to definitely thank her. This has made such a difference in making decisions. And, you know, life is about making decisions, making choices. And I'm very bad at procrastinating. I always have been my whole life. So this has helped me to keep going forward. What was it that Christina said?
Forward. It doesn't matter how big it is, as long as it's forward.
It's going forward. Yeah. So to me, that's what this does. It propels forward. And I love, Suzanne, that you brought up about the rocket launch. I used to love to watch rocket launches. I lived in Florida most of my life. And one of the places I lived was in Melbourne, which is close to the Cape, where they would take the shuttle launches up. And so I could watch them from my house, or where I worked, or whatever. And there's just something so powerful about hearing that countdown when it gets to the 5, 4, 3, 2. And when it hits 2, you just know there's just that expectancy that you're going to see something miraculous. And so I think with this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in our own lives, we can know when we get to that 2 mark that something miraculous is about to happen. And that propels us forward, just like the shuttle goes upward, we go forward in what we're going to do. And so I love that analogy to the rocket launch.
It's like hope, right? Sort of gives you a hope for something good to happen, because you get into action and do something. I would say equivalent. That's giving me hope.
Oh.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that there have been some really great things that have happened as a result of us reading and talking about this book. And Mary Lou, I keep going back to you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so happy that you
I don't, you know, I am too. You know, I had these poems for years and years just sitting in my craft room. They were complete, to the point that I was satisfied with them. And I had shared them with close family and a few friends, you know, but something in me as I was reading this book said, you know, you can do more with this. You know, this is a time in our world when there's great changes happening, and people are looking for, you know, suggestions and guidance, and my poems kind of lend themselves a little bit to that, and the light bulb went on for me. And I thought, if I just add a few questions, you know, and then give an intention based on the poem and the questions, and those questions were so easy for me. In the beginning, I was way off track, and I called one of my daughters and I said, you know, I need a little help with this. I'm trying to come up with really creative questions. And she said, stop that, Mom. Just think of what's inside of you and what you wrote in the poem, and then make a question that's relevant to the poem itself. And when I started doing that, you know, they came very easily to me. You know, and not to say that, you know, once I start on the next process, you know, which will be to have opinions and, you know, and professional help with it, you know, an editor or a publisher, you know, whoever might be, you know, willing to say, you know, well, let's phrase it this way instead, you know. But I did try to keep them simple. And so I'm excited to go along with the next phase of it. And we'll see what happens, you know, but it did take courage on my part, you know, and I did self-question along the way, you know, oh, is this really, you know, something that anybody else might be interested, or is it just something that I did for myself and my own reflections and growth, you know. But I'm really feeling it, you know, that there might be one person out there, you know, that could benefit from one line in one poem, you know. And so I'm willing to, you know, step out in courage and hopefulness that it'll make a difference in somebody else's life.
Beautiful.
And look at the timing. Look at that timing. You had them laying around for years, and now we have a pandemic.
Yes.
And people will need those words of love and encouragement. It's a perfect timing you're doing that, Mary Lou. I think that's why you waited so long, because people need it now.
Maybe, you know, it's all part of the plan, right? All part of
Divine timing. Yeah.
Yes. You know, I while you were talking, I have one. It's called The Sailor. Do you want me to read it?
Please do.
Sure. Okay. The storms will come, and the breaking waves may batter one about to challenge weak and brave. A stowaway can never feel the joy as well as pain. He's hiding away the pleasures his courage may have gained. There is a stirring thrill in coming off the shelf, riding through the turmoil when you trust yourself. The worry on your furrowed brow, oh, be it not for me, a life is chartered day by day as the captain charts the sea.
Wow, cool.
And the questions are, when you were battered about, did you hide your pain and fear, or what gave you courage? Anybody want to answer? When you felt battered about, did you hide your pain and fear, and what gave you courage? Like Mel got courage from the inspiration of seeing the, you know, the shuttle go up with the countdown, that she embraced that sense of freedom, you know, and power, you know, and she turned it around and made it a moment of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wake up, Charlie. I'm not going to bore you. Wake up, Charlie.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I caught you. I know you're not bored. You're just having a cat nap.
I was up early. We were up early.
I know. And I know that you were also up with the beautiful, glorious moon. I miss doing that. You know, I really wanted to do it, but I was like you, and I needed to get to bed at that time.
Yeah, I stayed up late that night, and then this morning we were up to see the sunset. We went for a walk on the beach.
Sunrise.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was up before the sunrise, Charlie.
Yeah.
But I'll answer your question, Mary Lou. So yes, I have been battered about quite a bit in my life, and I would hide in the fear, but I also would put that smile on my face and pretend that everything was okay. And that's another way of hiding, is by not acknowledging the hurt, not acknowledging the pain. Just keep pushing it down. But you can only push it down so long before it starts to explode. And that's
right.
Yeah, and that was an awakening for me. It was like, okay, I've got so much heaviness inside that I pushed down. Something's got to give. And it was at one point, it was like, okay, I've had enough. I've had enough. And I think it's that moment of realization that you don't want to live your life that way. You don't want to live your life being disrespected and always told you're not good enough, you're not worthy. Just even if it's not the words, it's the feeling that you're getting when you're being abused.
Yes.
For me, I can only speak for myself. When I say I've had enough and I say I'm done. And that's when things start to shift and change. And that's kind of like my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 moment. It's like, okay, I'm shifting away from that now. I'm turning totally away from it. I don't want that anymore. So for me, it was like, I hid it for a long time. And then it was like, nope, not hiding anymore. Standing up for myself finally.
Yes. And in doing that, instead of remaining the sailor, you became the captain.
Yes.
And you took charge of that ship.
Took my life back.
Yeah. Yes.
I can attest to that too. Sort of like Teri said, I was going through stuff, and my thing is always suck it up, have a smile on your face. I'm a master of just sucking it up. And then what actually got me out of it is, funny enough, is this book club and Teri and the Angelic River family, because you guys kept flashing over my news screen till I finally got the hint. I was like, let me check that out. And then really with the book club, starting to participate in the book club, I didn't have much anger in me because I just all suppressed it. But the book club, the books, and the whole community here empowered me and made me stronger. So that's sort of, and I still deal with my situation, but I'm just learning every day to find myself a little bit. So that's sort of my way out. But it was through this right here, to this community. So that helped me.
Suzanne, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. Teri, it must make you so happy.
Oh, I'm a proud Mama P when I hear words like that.
It was Teri, yeah.
And you know what? It's kind of the answer to the second question too, because it says, did self-trust come from your own strength, or did others encourage you? And I think oftentimes we need one another. And it's a beautiful thing to acknowledge that, and to recognize that we don't always have to do it on our own. We sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't. Digging into our higher power, often leads, in my opinion, in my experience, to another person. We're not here on just our own dime. We're here to help.
What was the beauty is that the support system I got through here, because here I have no support system where I live. I have nobody. My family is in Germany, and I can every once in a while speak with them. But you guys were a completely new support system I have right now, helping me through this, which is awesome because I knew nobody before. I just met you all in August, and you're so helping me and loving me. And so it's like a miracle. It's cool. I love it.
It's wonderful.
You were talking about the ship, and I visioned us, we're all on the good ship Lollipop. And then Susan said, suck it up. So it was like, we're all one. So it's like, oh my God. Uh, I don't know. My brain works in crazy ways. I don't know.
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
We need that humor, Charlie. We need you sharing those things like that with us because laughter raises the vibration. So we need more laughter in our lives. We need to keep our vibrations high. So I love that. The good ship lollipop with Charlie at the helm.
Oh boy, we're going under.
With the
We're going on an
sweet
adventure.
Stop.
We
Oh,
might
and here
go
we
on-
go. We're not helping Suzanne though, because the next words are with a sweet trip to the candy shop.
No, I'm using the 5-second rule. I'm okay.
I was going to say, though, we might end up on Gilligan's Island if Charlie's at the helm.
Well, that's who I am. I'm Gilligan. So if anybody was ever Gilligan, it would be me.
Teri, I
like
was thinking about your comment also where you said, you swallowed the pain, and I kind of always go back to some song, and I was thinking of the one the everybody loves a clown, so why can't you? Everybody laughs at the things I say and do, and really that person wants to appear as a clown, but they're suffering inside, and they've learned that's not the way, that's not the direction that we're meant to go.
Right. Yeah. Is that the song, The Tears of a Clown?
Yeah, I think no. It's an old, really
Tears.
old one, like a 50s song. Everybody loves a clown, so why
Everybody-
can't you? Everybody laughs at the things that I say and do. Remember that one?
I do remember that one, but there's another song called The Tears of the Clown.
Yes.
Yes. And talking about how,
In the same way.
clown was- yeah. Yeah, that was, I think, a 60s or 70s song.
I think so. I think 50s or 60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I related to that even as a young girl at times in my life when I was, because I remember saying to somebody, even, I don't know, 10 years ago, he said, you're always smiling. And I said, it's part of my personality in a natural way, but sometimes I need to not smile and let people know that I'm not in a good place. I think it's a learning experience. If you're a negative person, you have to learn, to see the light and the goodness and the love and order to come into a balance. And if you're a smiler and your ambiance is happiness, then you have to also learn to bring that to balance and say, it's not okay today. Not all right. Yeah. Life experiences, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's what we're here for. That's why we're here, to go through those experiences for our soul growth. And with the bigger the experience, sometimes the bigger the jump that we have in our spiritual growth. So, yeah, so don't look at anything as negative when it happens. Just say, okay, I'm growing right now. Kind of like the physical growing pains. We have spiritual growing pains too.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a beautiful discussion. I don't know if Christina's at a place where she can talk anymore. I see she's muted, but I'm so glad that all of you were here for this discussion today. And we are going to start a new book starting next week. It will be Anea Joy Holili with the Angel Code. Does anybody have the book yet?
I have it.
There it is.
She's beautiful. I'm so excited to start this one.
And she's excited about meeting with us. We've got to decide a time. Well, let me see. I can't remember what that time difference is. Let me look it up really quick. Between here and Brisbane.
On the back, it says the angel code is your safe harbor, where whatever may be occurring within you, your family, your relationships, or in the world, the angel code is now in your life to support you, to safely guide and help you to flourish, to experience more clarity, peace, hope, and trust. And isn't that interesting? There's that word clarity again, because when we did the angel instruction with Christina, it was angel clarity.
Right. Yeah.
For me, it seems like every day somebody says clarity. Like clarity.
Really?
Since Monday, yes. Every day someone will come up
Isn't
with
it
clarity.
interesting how that happens?
Yeah.
It,
is.
it's
So-
like I've been reading it, and it's like all poems,
Mhm.
like little poems. The whole
Very
thing.
poetic. Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, when we normally meet is 3:00 in the morning for her.
Oh,
So, if we push the time 3 hours ahead, it would be like 6:00 in the morning for her. I can check and see if she would do that. That would
Or
be
maybe we can do it at
5.
like 7 or 8 at night, which would be 8 or 9 o'clock for her, right?
So just before chanting.
Yeah.
maybe one night, like you could do it after, like on Angel Wings. You know what I mean? Since we're pretty much together already.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could totally do an angel wings with her on it.
Yeah. Or her right after it. You know what I mean? Because Angel Wings is 6 to 7. Then you got like 7 to whatever, and chanting's at 9. I'm sure Jean can fit her meal in there somewhere.
Would
Where
that work
is
for you,
Jean?
Terry?
We're missing our Jean today.
I know.
And Kathy just came on and said hello to us. Okay, so you're talking about shifting it from our normal Wednesday day to Monday.
Just that 1 week. Yeah.
All
Would
right.
that work for you, Terry?
Or
Well, I'll send her a message. I know I think she might do Angel Heart Radio on Monday, but I'll check and see.
it was a
And I'll-
thought.
Yeah, thank you. I'll send her a message as soon as we get off of here and see if that will work for her, because she said to give her some options.
You also have the hour before it instead of the hour after it.
On Mondays,
Yeah. You know, if you had to do it the hour before. It was just a thought because, you know, we're all on, you're on already. It's just easier to get together when you're together. It's easier to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 it.
yeah, and then we wouldn't have a meeting on Wednesday that week. Yeah,
You could still have the meeting and just have her there for like an interview or whatever about the book, and still have Wednesday's meeting. You don't have to cancel Wednesday's meeting. It could be an end, you know, a plus, an added meeting. You're gonna kill me, aren't you? You're gonna come through that.
uh-huh.
Yeah. You could bury me in the next land blessing.
I have an idea too. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You could have her as a guest on the Kappa Joy in the morning, so everybody can hear about the book. I mean, if that would work from the time, and everybody is in at that time already anyways. If you take 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes with her at the Kappa, if that would work.
I'm just trying to figure out the time.
That would be like midnight, no? Or 10 at night.
Yeah, it'd be like 10 at night.
Better than 3 in the morning.
All right, I'll talk to her when we get off of here. I'll have a conversation with her and see what she wants to do.
Right. And right, we should give it a week or two so people have
Become
questions.
familiar.
So we can get into the book,
Okay.
make it like 2 weeks down the road or something. This way we can, if we have questions, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to hear before we read the book.
Okay.
Just saying.
I
You
like
let
that
him be
idea.
captain of the ship. Remember that.
No, I do like that idea, Charlie. Thank you. So next week we will get started with the discussion of the book, and then the following week we'll see if she can come on. And
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay, that sounds like a plan to me.
Right.
Any other words of wisdom or anything that you all want to share? Mary Lou, do you want to read another poem to us to end us today?
Oh, well, I could maybe, well, if I can find the sailor one, I was going to say what the intention was. I don't know if I'll find it though. The intention was, I believe, to go out and be the captain and find a sailor that you could show compassion to. That was the intention. Okay, here's one. A source giving life to all. Alive in love through our good deeds, each time we offer to help or please. Alive in pain for love's own sake, each time we suffer through give and take. Alive in me through all I do, each time you breathe, love lives in you. Maybe this week we can be aware of the one within us who is alive in our goodness. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beautiful.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing with us. And I can't wait until your book is published and we can have Mary Lou's book on the book club.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
It's going to happen. It is going to happen. I'm putting that out there. Yeah, love it. All right. Well, we're going to get off of here and wish everybody well for the rest of your day or night, wherever you are. And thank you for joining us today, to everybody that came in to enjoy the conversation. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, go to the Soul Food Book Club on Facebook. It's a group, and all the information is there for you to join in with us every week while we have these beautiful discussions about the books we're reading. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And to everyone that's here on Zoom, I love you so much. And we are going to end with
Namaste, y'all.
Bye, everybody.